Type 6, the loyal person. Type 6ers want to be safe and secure, feel belonged, ensure things go smoothly with little or no shocks. Unsurprisingly, they function best where the rules are defined and structures and systems are set so that they can follow it closely and ensure that everyone does as well without having to comfort anyone. There can be two sides to the Type 6, frequently referred to as the phobic 6 or counterphobic 6. The phobic 6 fears the worst constantly and takes precautions to try to ensure these fears are minimized. The counterphobic 6, while still haunted by fear, chooses to fight their fear by pushing through it just so that they can convince themselves that they can deal with it, although this underlying feeling never goes away. It's inherent within the 6. They can sometimes resemble the tough 8s, but their motivations are different. 6ers are doubting and skeptical by nature. Their curiosity prompts them to ask a lot of questions, seek clarification that will help alleviate the doubt. But once the coast is clear, the 6 feels relieved to move ahead. Their constant worry leads them to be very prepared, in fact over-prepared, and this deprives them of practicing spontaneity. This can take a knock on their confidence. Their preparation does bring big advantages in the form of reliability, fluid thinking processes, contingency plans when unforeseen circumstances happen. The early childhood of the 6, the child grew up having trust in their caregiver like any other child, only to have that trust betrayed, having not shown up in situations where they were supposed to. As a result, the child adapted to those situations and adopted a mindset of preparedness for the worst case scenario. The Type 6 child felt that they should be ready for unpredictability, that there are no safe places to go. They lost faith that they would receive the physical and emotional protection that a caregiver should provide. As such, they caved into their own inner defense of doubting, second-guessing, and disbelieving their own inner guidance. Some of the strengths of the 6. 6ers are sometimes called the loyalists because they remain committed and faithful to family, friends, and those whom they trust. Since the background behind 6ers are based on issues relating to trust, it remains a theme and virtue which is inherent in their lives and one which they treasure so deeply by staying true to it. 6ers pride themselves as being reliable and effective team players. They don't want anyone to be let down, and hence they do their utmost best to be supportive and hardworking, and sometimes to the point of sacrificing their own needs to ensure they feel trusted. 6ers have the ability to be a conformist and a nonconformist. The latter simply means that they must do what they fear. They can and will back up what they say with strong conviction and speak their minds, but with respect. But a hidden strength, and in a way weakness as well, is this willful fight to show bravery and not give in to fear. Almost like a fake it till you make it mentality in this context, but that means some 6ers will fight it out regardless of inner fear. They generally confront danger bravely. Even though 6ers are known for throwing spanners, opening a can of worms, and raining on your parade sometimes, it is with good intention. They seek to understand the inconsistencies in proposals and discussions, tighten loose ends, and ensure that things are good to go. This is how they can be branded skeptical, but it is for the good of everyone else if only we'd understand their intentions. All these points raised can only lead to recognizing the dogged persistence Type 6 has when they believe in giving their best for a cause that is important. If it's scare or insecurity about something, completion of a group's task and leaving no stones unturned, rest assured, a 6 will take care of it. Some limitations of the 6. Well, 6ers want to be cautious that they are making the best decision possible, hence the constant push and pull in decision making in case last-minute information crops up. Sometimes 6ers shortchange themselves because of the constant worry that something is going to go wrong. As a result, they are risk-averse and they avoid throwing themselves into a great opportunity. This then leads to a lack of confidence because making mistakes and the fear of failure stops them from even trying. The progression of this behavior leads to lessened opportunities to fall down and pick up themselves. 6ers can sometimes get so particular about following the rule book that they get inflexible with themselves about bending the rules. It makes them serious, formal, and law-abiding, and not realizing that the very people who bend the rules in the past were the greatest inventors and success stories. Sixes are hard on themselves and may dwell on their mistakes more than their victories. This beating up of self can thwart their attempts at recovering fast and going with the flow. Some reflections for sixes. You tend to cut short your celebrations and spend little time on relishing your achievements before you start doubting your abilities again. Learn to use these positive experiences as your anchors and focus on how you perform well. Learn to differentiate between objective reality, what is actually happening, and a projection, which is basically something based on your imagination. Start listening to your heart and body more, especially if your mind and superego, which is really your self-talk, starts to doubt people's intentions. Learn to decipher the source of these doubts and compare them with what your heart feels. Start learning to trust your inner authority rather than looking to someone or something outside yourself for meaning and certainty. Wisdom lives within, and you have much resources already to back you up. Recognize that change is a necessary strain that will build your emotional and mental muscle. Build courage to face your fears and recognize that change is and will always be a constant, and it comes with making mistakes and moving on. You may not always keep up, but relish in the fact that you are progressing. Variety is the spice of life. Try to move out of your circles and try a different spice rather than stay in your comfort zones. Have some self-time so that you are comfortable in your own skin while you stay in a state of mindfulness. Sixes are active in mind, but many times they create negative situations which do not exist. Future tripping about what will not work or how things might not work.